Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Trash Talk. I'm here with a very, very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
What's up? I'm Adv1ll. I sometimes make videos.
And jumping straight into it. Now, of course, I know a lot about your video creation process, a hell of a lot about it. But for people that maybe don't know who are watching at home, what does a content creation process look like for you for the average video, let's say?
I have like a list of
Hmm.
video ideas that I really like. And what I'll do is I'll go down the list and then I'll go on Twitter and I'll see whatever's trending or which one of the ideas I like the best. And then
Hmm.
I'll just start recording and see if I can come up with a decent rough draft. And then if it looks fine or is entertaining enough as like a rough draft, then I actually start.
Yeah, 100%. And for you, when you're making these videos, of course, I know, sometimes you ask me what I think of a draft of a intro, for example, or a idea and stuff. And I'm assuming you do that with maybe a couple of other people and friends and shit. So when you do that and you get feedback on shit, and you're editing and a video comes together, how long do you think that roughly takes from start to finish?
It's a struggle, but I try to get it done in a month.
And of
Which,
course, some videos take longer, right? I feel like
yeah,
that's inevitable. For you, what's your longest video that's taken the longest time, or the video that say are there any you're currently working on that have sort of taken over that, where it's going to take multiple months to complete?
so there's a few videos I'm still working on that the longest video that's not even done yet
Hmm.
has taken like 2 years.
Oh wow.
But like the one out of the ones that are uploaded right now, probably the hardest or like the longest one was the luckless one.
Hmm.
The because I started that idea after I uploaded the first Daft Pina video,
Hmm.
which was like a year ago. And then I did the luckless stuff while working on other videos,
Yeah.
I think. And then I was like, I got distracted about other stuff. And so I kind of just put it off. And then I finished it like a couple months ago.
No, 100%. And for you, when you did start off making content and stuff, where did you begin with content creation? Have you just been based on the Advil channel, or have you had channels previously before that and content? What led you up to what you're doing now?
The Advil channel is like my 12th channel.
Hmm.
I started uploading videos in third grade
Yeah.
with me and my friends doing shitty Minecraft Xbox videos where like you set up the camera, like your phone to record like your TV screen and stuff.
Hmm.
That's where it started.
Oh wow, and I guess from then the content's progressed heavily, and where for you did it cross over into that commentary sort of style of video, like the ones you do where they're pretty in depth video essay, or they're sort of connected to commentary.
Well, I've always like before Advil channel, like before I actually made it, I made Overwatch videos on a channel that got deleted by
Hmm.
YouTube, and I've been watching commentary since like fourth or fifth grade. I would watch like Leafy, which was a terrible influence, but I would like watch Leafy, and I was like, yeah, get those little shitters in like fifth grade, and so it's
Yeah,
always been like a genre, like one of my top genres on YouTube,
no, 100%.
and I found this guy named Book of Kin. And I was like,
Hmm.
this is the perfect time to make a commentary video. I didn't do it, but it was my first like experience actually making stuff like that.
Yeah,
And when my Overwatch channel got deleted, I was like, well, I don't have like, anything to really lose. So I started
no,
Advil
100%.
channel and I just made shitty like 5-minute gameplay commentary videos. I would record, edit, and upload like every single day during COVID. I did that
Hmm.
for like a couple months. And then I got like so burnt out of talking about like nothing. It would get to the point where I would just like sit there talk about something for like 30 seconds and then just like add 3 minutes of like outro music. And
The grind, the
yeah,
commentary grind.
yeah, I was at that point. I was at the I was at like the Rice Gum PewDiePie level of like laziness.
Yeah,
And so I was
yeah,
like, I do not like this. And so I stopped doing it because it was like absolutely nothing. And then Daft Pina like a year or two ago got, exposed for all this stuff. And I
yeah.
was like, oh well, that seems interesting. I might as well make a
Mhm.
video on that. Completely random. And then I got in contact with people, and then the research, I started to like really enjoy the process of researching and like reaching out to people, stuff like that. And that's when I stopped doing like shitter 30-second clips with 5 hours of outro music, and then
Yeah.
started actually like being like, oh, I can make stuff that isn't as terrible.
No, no, 100%. And like for you, of course, like your commentary and stuff has obviously come like quite a distance. And I'd say from like a commentary daily slop to like videos that you take your time on, like you research into them properly, like you ask people around for advice on it. And of course, your most popular video on the Adv1ll channel is your Daft Pina video. And for people that maybe don't know the situation, would you like maybe to just like sum it up, like well, what happened for people that maybe aren't familiar with it?
Yeah, sure. So there's this guy named Daft Pina. He did like art commentary stuff about like Twitter artists, YouTube artists, and he had a long history of being really strange and hypocritical throughout his years online. And it would be things like calling out someone for tracing, and then it turns out he was tracing when he started, getting popular, or uh, he would call someone lazy for not working 24/7 when he
Mhm.
would pass off entire chunks of his videos to other people, stuff like that. And I he got in trouble for what was it? He doxed this person he was working on a video about, where he like showed their Facebook account, which had like their private information on there,
Yeah.
which I saw that. I was like, oh, that's a little. No matter what the person did, you probably shouldn't dox them to like your fans.
Well, yeah.
And then I researched, made the video in like a month or two, and
Hmm.
then I released it. And then for some reason, it just did a lot better than I thought it would.
No, 100%. Like it did really well. It's currently sitting on nearly 60,000 views, and the video, like I think it holds up pretty well in comparison to some of your newer content as well. And of course, like most recently in your most recent upload, you uploaded one on Daft Pina's most recent situation and everything that came out with all of like the LS Mark stuff and just all of that stuff. And like for you, were you happy with that video? Because I guess like as well, you're sort of bringing a conclusion to a video that you started like a year ago, right? Like you're keeping up to date and like keeping up your audience up to date with like a situation and a character that's sort of really progressed like in that year, right? Like gone from drama to drama and situation to situation. So do you feel like with that, like do you feel like Darth Pina is someone that you feel like maybe in the future you'd continue to cover if situations came out?
Probably not. The only reason, like, there's a few big reasons why I made
Hmm.
another video about Daft Pina. One, because no one had really like gone in depth about it, in
Yeah.
terms of like the most that there had been were like quick things where it's like, oh yeah, he talked about this. That's he's kind of a little goober. Like that was
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
was the extent I saw, at least. And I felt like, as someone who had made a video on him, and not saying I like started the movement, but as someone who kind of um was one of like the more recent people to make a video and have it do well about him,
Yeah.
I felt like I was in my area of expertise to
Hmm.
to talk about him. And I was kind of just, well, also it was easy views, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But I was also interested to see personally how I would respond to him comparatively because I'm now like 18, and when I made that
Hmm.
video I was like 15, 16.
Yeah.
I was like, a little, I was a lot younger than I am now, and I just wanted to see like where my uh how the difference between my mental would be from when I was kind of a little shitter to now.
Yeah, no, 100%, and I get that. I guess it's almost like a. What would you say? This is a correct way to sum up. Almost like a check mark, right? Like a progress point. Like you can look back at both of your Daft Pina videos and see how far you've come in content creation, in the way you formulate points, in the way like your videos are styled. So I guess it's a nice reflection, right? You're speaking about the same guy, just different points in your YouTube journey, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
it's like a full
yeah.
circle.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like you've come full circle with it. And of course, like throughout that journey, you've uploaded like a bunch of like different like commentary, like essay videos. But of course, you've also experimented, right? And one of the experiments is how I got to know you as well, and it's how I became the biggest commentator in 1 month. Now, that's a very experimental video in comparison to like some of the rest of your content. So like when you were coming and formulating that idea, like I know you did have doubts about like it and like about the tiles and stuff. Like, did you think that it would always do well, or was it like again, were you almost like hesitant to upload it and like create that content?
My goal for my videos, like in terms of like how well they do, it's
Hmm.
always been. It used to be before I was at like 2K, which uh, it was always like get as many or more views as I have subscribers, because that
Yeah.
means that at least like people who subscribe to me still enjoy my content, even if it's not every
Hmm.
single person who subscribed to me. But now it's just like at least like 1K. That's what I'm going for. Just so I
Yeah.
know that there's like a consistent like
Hmm.
stream of people who are interested in not just like the stuff I talk about. And
No, 100%.
the the video you're talking about, that was one that was like, man, if this video gets like 200 views because it's so different, especially like in contrast to like commentators, especially like newer ones, like people who are in the same like genre as like Tom or like Augie,
Hmm.
um, like they make great content, but like commentators aren't really known for stepping outside of their genre when they're smaller. It's more of just
Yeah.
like known as the consistent grind, uh,
Hmm.
which is a thing in its own right. But I was just going to be happy if it even got like 500 views because it's so different
No,
to as
100%.
compared to other stuff.
Well, yeah, like it's not your usual content, and it's experimental, right? You're testing the waters to see if it's like content that maybe your audience and people that do just genuinely watch you for you will enjoy, right? Like, because you're gonna get these people that will watch like certain videos that you create because of the content you're speaking about, the situation or the topic. But I guess with that, they're coming there for you, right? They're not coming there for the video idea. They're coming there like for you and see if you're interesting and stuff. So I guess it's like a brand new sort of style for your channel.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's
hmm
Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
oh, I was just gonna say, like, of course, like, since that video, we've spoken a lot about like future videos and future projects. And is that something that you want to do? Is like experiment a lot more with like content and do other like projects that aren't necessarily this like commentary essay style video?
Yeah, I really enjoy doing commentary stuff. If I didn't,
Hmm.
I wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
But after doing it consistently and like having to constantly think about, well, what recent terrible event that happens to someone can
Yeah.
I can I research and like try to use for views, which it's not like the thought process, but essentially it's somewhat similar. Yeah, it gets a bit draining to constantly be like, well, how can I spin like this current event that has like actual people? How can I spin that to like get views in some way? And it's just been a bit draining, uh, if I'm being honest. But uh, so that's why I've been trying to like sit down and think of ideas that still fit somewhat into the drama or like commentary-ish genre, but will still that aren't directly involved with like talking about someone else or discussing a situation or anything like that. Just something that it's like lighthearted and a bit more fun. Because I think that is something that like commentary as a genre is honestly missing, which is there's a lot of big creators in it who are happy with being in the genre and calling themselves commentators and interacting with, like people around my size or stuff like that. But there's nothing that's really like, there's a lot of people with good personalities, but they don't um, use that to create more personality based content besides streaming. Like that's the extent of it. Like
Yeah.
there's like a big gap in taking these people that are really popular and have people who will watch them just for them and not using the personality alongside with the the creator. And I that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to find with like a lot of the stuff I'm thinking of doing is using my personality, YouTubers I'm friends with in the commentary space, their personalities, stuff like that, in a more of a personality based context as opposed to um, just purely drama stuff.
Well, no, 100%, because I feel like you lose a lot of that personality within commentary, right? When you're covering like allegations, severe situations, or even topic commentary, you lose a lot of that personality. Unless you're like a commentator that like dabbles in more like drama-based content when you're calling out someone, right? You do lose a lot of that personality, a lot of the humor, a lot of what, right? So I guess when you're doing more like personality-driven content, like some of the ideas you're working on, like the commentary one that you dropped. Like I feel like you can just genuinely express yourself more and express other people more, right? And it's a similar like way why I do trash talk, right? I get to talk to other people. They get to speak about themselves. They get to speak about their ideas and like actually show who they are, right? And I get to do the same. So I feel like that's something 100% is lacking in commentary, and it seems like you 100% want to show more people's personality and your personality to have more like personality-driven content rather than like topic commentary-driven content.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's pretty like valiant, right? Because I feel like there are so many commentators that are driven purely by the topics, right? Like not driven by their personality or driven by like their characteristics. It's all based off the topics they cover. So it should be interesting to see hopefully this like new sort of style of like video creation within like the commentary sphere, where it is way more personality driven than it is topic driven.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that when people talk about like the old commentary community, like
Hmm.
Leafy, iDubbbz, Pyro, when they were making like, daily commentary stuff,
Yeah.
I think the one part that's missing when people are like, "Oh, why is it so different now?" is that majority of the people back then had fans that wanted them that like them because like Leafy was funny, but he was like edgy. Pyro
Yeah.
was British, of course, and iDubbbz, he was a cuck. That's why that's the big three. No, but like people cared more about their personalities, honestly, than their content. And even
Well,
like someone like iDubbbz, who, um, Content Cop at the time was great in terms of production still had majority of people watch everything he did, not because his like not just because his content was great, but because he was funny and he had a good personality on camera. And
well, exactly, right.
wait, what'd you say?
Well, exactly. So, like, a lot of these people got big purely based off of their personality. Like Idub with, like you said, with his content cop style, right? He injected a lot of his humor and personality, and without that, it wouldn't have been as big as it was.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Like,
think there's two people right now who do it
hmm,
great, which are Dumpy and Tom.
yeah,
I think they're fantastic, and Augie. But I
hmm,
think those three are like the shining examples for people who aren't just like commentators; they're like actual like uh content creators, no matter how much that word is hated. They're like people who like I have friends who watch commentary stuff and they watch everything Tom does, not because like they really care about about the content, just because they really enjoy the way he presents himself and stuff like that.
No, 100%. Like, I feel like content is like really decisive, right? And of course, when you're injecting your own personality, your own humor, your own editing, even for example, right? That like editing can be a massive part for that, right? I feel like you are gaining like a stable audience that come for you and you only, right? Like, I feel like the worst thing you can do as a content creator, and especially when you're in commentary, is create an audience that come for the topics you're speaking about rather than you and your videos, yeah, just in general, because then you create like an awkward toxic atmosphere where they don't really care about you or your content. They're just here to like hear about the weekly allegations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like, but moving forward in your channel, is that something you really want to push forward more with? Like, I know we said about like you doing way more like personality driven stuff, but is that something you want to push way more forward? Is like going forward, like of course still doing like these commentary essays, but like just injecting a lot more of your personality and humor into it?
Yeah, I in terms of like editing and creating videos, I don't I wish I could see it like someone like Tom or Mr. Beast or someone that I
Hmm.
think I would be a lot more further along if I could. But they see it as like they see it as like they can like break it down into what will perform the best. I only see it as if I do X thing, will it be the most entertaining thing to do? And will it make the
Yeah.
video the most entertaining and funniest? And it's more of that like old school mindset, which
Hmm.
is either good or bad. But I, uh, I try my best to not really focus too much on like the niche details of like, well, actually, if I put the color green in this shot, then people are more likely to click subscribe.
Yeah.
It's more of just if it's funny or entertaining, or if it engages the person and makes them enjoy my personality, then that's all that really matters. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't try to. It's the personality at least is not something that I like intentionally put in, but I'm trying to get better at doing that type of stuff where I integrate it a bit more.
No, 100%. And I do want to just like ask you like one of the final questions because I feel like this would be quite a long one. Like, for you with your content, is there anything that in the next year or so or the next couple of months that you really want to start doing with like the Advil channel or like any other sort of projects? Like, what we like aiming for? Like, what is your overall goal for like the next like several months or so?
My I want to start doing more like series. I have a few
Hmm.
ideas for them, and if you want, I could run one off the top of my head. I want to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. 100%.
So I want to like cultivate more of like a audience that enjoys like YouTube
Hmm.
statistics, becoming YouTubers, stuff like that. And that's kind of why I did the luckless video, just because
Yeah.
it's more about like YouTube statistics, what makes good content, stuff like that.
No,
And
100%.
I I have an idea for a series where I take normal people, like people who don't make content, and like big YouTubers or just YouTubers in general, and I give them like a week, a month, and have them start a new channel and see if the experienced YouTuber can get more popular than someone who watches YouTube and understands just like what is interesting about it. And I personally think it'd be a cool idea, but also I'm not like, I see it more as like that's the type of stuff I would like to watch, but also I don't know much about what other people would like.
No, I get that. Like, I feel like a lot of your goals sort of end up in the same place, right? Like, not creating this like new like a bunch of new YouTubers, but like sort of influencing newer people to create content that again more personality based driven that care about maybe that like analytical style of like YouTube and content, and will happily sit down and watch something like that, right? It feels like you're definitely trying to like influence a lot of brand new people to not just be these like absolute like degenerate clones of like other former commentators and other former content creators, but let's sort of like take it in their own stride and actually be their own person, which I guess is like quite an admirable thing to do, right? Like try and like create some, I don't know, like, would you say this is the right word, like more original content creators?
Yeah, I try my best to come up with stuff that whenever I get an idea that I really like, I always look it up on YouTube to see if it's, been done or how it's been done to see if I could do it better or
Hmm.
in my own way, I guess. Better is a bit. But I um I try my best to be as like original as I can, which can be kind of difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
But I want to try to I personally would like it if my audience were people who were trying to learn how to do like make content were um in that sort of sphere,
Yeah.
just so I could be I guess a bit more of like an example of someone who you don't have to like follow the Mr. Beast format to
Well,
do
yeah.
well.
No, 100%. No, I get that. It's like a goal as well. Like you're just creating like more of like a, I don't know, like a less toxic atmosphere, right? Instead of like competing and doing the exact same thing, you're trying to inspire people to like become like more original instead of like following this same like formulaic sort of style of content. Where it is like either like if you're doing commentary, you follow that like the Remy Leafy style. If you're doing like just normal videos, you follow that Mr. Beast sort of style of stuff. So it is very like what with content creating at the moment, I feel like it is very like formulaic, right? You'll either do one thing or you do the other, and you're basing off your ideas off of like previous people that have like come, and like you're sort of just basically embodying them rather than embodying yourself. So I guess it is definitely something that like as a content creator you can 100% influence people to maybe like change up and like change some of the stuff they would have done like if they hadn't come across your channel, for example.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I would love to
yeah,
be an influence for other people.
yeah, yeah. It seems like you're probably going about it in the right way as well, like the way you're thinking, the way like some of your ideas are formulated, and just the way I guess with your content creation process, just like coming back to the beginning of it, for the end. Like I guess you're all like connecting it, right? Because you're coming to people, you're asking for like tips and like what they think of stuff. So I guess like you're involving more people, getting more people's thoughts, personality, and all that sort of stuff involved in your own videos, even.
Yeah, I my favorite part of more like one of my favorite parts is like collaborating with people,
Yeah,
like getting you guys to on the interview for the to the luckless video, or just
yeah.
like asking people what they think of the video and if it's good. Uh,
Hmm.
I I think that's it makes it more it makes it more enjoyable for me because even like beyond making the video better, if I like after like a year or a couple months, if I look back on these videos, I can always remember who helped me, who was in this, just like my friends along the way, and it's
Hmm.
very it's always good to have like those good memories attached.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Like you'd rather have like memories of like of people that are helping you, people that like made your content better, and like just like collaborating with people that you're friends with, right? Rather than like a bunch of negative commentary memories, if that makes sense. Like, you wouldn't just want to remember like the negative aspects of like covering like serious allegations or stuff. You'd rather remember like the collaborations and fun shit that you do with people.
Yeah.
Which I 100% get, right? Like, I'd 100% like in like 40 years' time, I 100% rather remember trash talk and like interviewing people and speaking to people than like covering like some really depressing like allegations on YouTube, right? Like, I 100% rather remember this sort of stuff than that. So, no, I get that 100%. Like, I guess it's what you take out of your like experience online, like, and like what you do. Rather than like what you do on your main channel and shit. Like, I guess it all comes from like what you take from content creation and shit.
Yeah, my one of my favorite things about making videos and especially commentary videos
Hmm.
is I get to from like like reaching out to people either for advice or like for an interview for like if it's allegations against someone or something, just like being able to talk to people is always really enjoyable.
Yeah.
And uh, I've always loved the ability to make friends through doing YouTube stuff. It's probably like one of the best parts about doing it because you get all these friends throughout the years that just like culminate into like a good progression and like just like a growing personal community of people that you can count on and are always good to like associate with.
No, no, 100%. Like, I feel like being able to speak to people and like collaborating and like just speaking to even new people, right? Like going out your way, speaking to brand new people, getting them on your videos, coming on their videos and stuff. It's what makes like content creation process again really fun, right? Like, I think you would be able to say when you're collaborating with someone or speaking to someone about content, it's way more enjoyable than when you're doing it on your own, right? You get to share the experience with someone, you get to have a laugh, and you get to create a good piece of content that both of you will look back on and be proud of.
Yeah. Yeah, you get to you also get to grow with your friends,
Yeah, no, 100%. Like you're helping each other out at that point, and I do 100% get that. And I feel like just to like wrap up the podcast, I feel like you spoke quite a bit about like the way to go forward, right? And I think even like just giving some tips, right, on like how to maybe grow, how to like connect with an audience, and how to connect with people around you when making content.
Yeah, it's always great to just like share ideas and like a lot of times I watch like a lot of different type of YouTube videos, whether that be like commentary, like Mr. Beast type stuff. I watch a lot of anime YouTube stuff like that, and so
Hmm.
having friends in the different genres is great because I will get these ideas for like anime YouTubers and being able to like give them to people and see if it does well or just try to help them in any way is always it's always a good feeling.
No, 100%, and I get that, and like I really do really like appreciate you like coming on Trash Talk and just taking like a good 30 minutes out of your day to speak on content creation, speak on like a lot of tips, and just speak about like your channel and stuff. So yeah, I really do appreciate you just coming on for an episode.
Yeah, of course. I've been so hyped to do this.
No, yeah, man, it's been a good episode, man. Like, fucking, you should be worried, right? If I was like ending the episode at like 15, 20 minutes, right? That's when you know the episode didn't go too well. But this episode's gone well. Like, fucking, I think we've had like a really good conversation and like really come up with some like good stuff for like even people that want to maybe dive into content creation stuff.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
No, no, no worries, man. And I really hope that everyone watching today's episode has really enjoyed. And if you do want to maybe learn more about Adv1ll and maybe watch some of his content, his link will be down below in the description. And of course, if you did enjoy today's episode, please feel free to subscribe to the Trash Talk YouTube channel. But I've been your host, Samuel, and I will catch you in the next episode of Trash Talk.